Hi guys, welcome back to the Tegiwa YouTube channel. We're joined once again by Matt, and we've got our Civic FL5 behind us, and in front of us we've got this lovely Infinity design carbon intake tube for our Civic Type R here. So what we're going to be doing today is dynoing the car with the stock inlet tube on. Then we're going to fit Infinity Design's carbon intake tube, and we're going to see if there's any difference.
That's right, yeah, we're going to fit the tube on the dyno, so we're not going to be strapping and unstrapping anything that could cause any sort of variability. It should be a pretty quick install because when we did the turbo smart blow-off valve, we had to have that pipe off anyway, so we know what we're doing there. So it'd be interesting to see if it does make a difference. Even Infinity themselves don't really know if it's going to make a difference. It should do in terms of how much air it can flow, but really it's something it's just a nice addition to have to your Infinity airbox that we've got on there.
Yeah, so it's kind of a visual thing, isn't it? It's available in, this is a gloss one, but it's also available in matte carbon as well, and it will pair to any airbox, even the standard airbox if you've got that.
Anything that stops here, where the standard one does, this clamp here, it replaces everything with this big Type R thing here, replaces all that. So it's much smoother inside than the factory intake tube, and it's larger bore as well. So it's got all the right ingredients. We'll see if it makes a difference on the dyno.
Yeah, and it's retails at £540. It's available at tegiwa.com, so go and check it out. And as you can see, we've already got the gloss carbon Infinity Design intake on it, and we know it's made really good gains in our intake test, which you can go and watch in our previous video. So let's move the table, we'll get the car strapped to the rollers and see what power it's making sort of in stock form with the intake on today. Yeah. Can we connect the OBD? So with the stock intake tube on, we can see that it made 348.8 brake horsepower, and it's made 333.8 pound-foot of torque. It's quite a steady temperature today, isn't it? It's
it's sort of it's in the high teens, 20 degrees. It's obviously a little bit less than we got on the intake test, but that's dynos. It's a different day. We've strapped it down. It's been off and on, and it's done a few more miles since. Loads of variables. So that's really healthy power, nice straight power band, so a good base to compare to when we put the intake tube on.
Hand it over to Matt now to show you how to fit the Infinity Design carbon intake tube.
Right, so we're going to take the standard intake tube off now. So it's held on in a few places. We have these two 10mm bolts, which I've already removed. There's a 10mm bolt at the back here. Just this clamp here for the connection to either your standard airbox or whatever airbox you've got. We've got this Infinity Design one fitted to our car. Then we've got two 12mm bolts that hold it to the turbo, one down the back there and one just here. And then we have two 10mm bolts holding this wiring loom to this tube. Now, as I said in another video where we took this off, you're better off just undoing and disconnecting this connector here for this sensor and the one for the wastegate, just so you can pull this out the way nicely and you're not ragging on any wires or stressing anything out. So I'll whip this off and we'll get the new one on and then we'll retest it. Okay, so that's off. It is extremely hot after you've just done a dyno run, so would recommend you doing this when the car is cool. But yeah, so it's as simple as that really. So we have this little gasket here. So ideally replace that. Just because we're going to do a quick test, we'll reuse this one. It's not too critical. There's not any pressure behind it. It's just the pre-turbo side. So it's got these handy little ears, and they just sit over there, meaning you don't have to try and dangle it in place while you're fitting it, which is really handy. So thank you, Honda, for that. That's it. We'll slip the new pipe in and retest. We're just going to place this new one in. So we've already got the gasket on here. So found it's easier. Slot it in slightly off centre like that. Make sure you keep that out of the way. That's it. So we just need to swap one thing over actually, just this little rubber grommet here. So, there we go, that's swapped over now. So that's that. That's roughly in position. So we're going to get the 12mm bolts in at the bottom here first. We're not going to tighten anything until we've got everything in. But once these 12mm ones are in, that's the, it'll pretty much be in position then. Okay, so that's those two in finger tight. So we'll get the other locating bolts in. So there's a 10mm at the back there. And that's bang in place already, no messing about needed, straight in. That is what's nice about fitting these Infinity design parts. Everything just lines straight up, really well thought out. So that's every bolt in now by a few threads or up to finger tight. So now I'll just make sure this is happy, get this clamped up, and then tighten all the bolts up. So now that that's done, all I need to do is plug back in these couple of sensors and this wastegate actuator. That's it, we are ready to go. So straight away I think it looks a good deal better than the standard one. Love how the weave, if you're matching this up with the Infinity design airbox there, the weave all goes the same way. It's really well thought out, really nice fitting and nice looking bit of kit. Start the fans please.
Vroom, vroom. So we've just dynoed the car with the intake tube on, the Infinity Design intake tube, and here are the results. So it's lost a horsepower, which is negligible.
Yeah, we're going to see that even if we'd dynoed it again as it was, like a horsepower on two different runs is neither here nor there.
It's also 2 degrees
yeah,
warmer.
that's it. It is warmer in here. But we have gained a lot of torque, haven't we?
Yeah, so Matt, the dyno wizard, is going to overlay the stock run that we did earlier against this run, and then we can see if there's any difference on the curves. Wow.
So straight away we can see, so this bolder line is with the intake tube and this thinner line is without it. If I just load the cursor up, we can see exactly where we are. So we'll look at the peaks there. So yeah, it's about 1.4 horsepower, but lower at the top. But like I say, just the temperature alone will account for at least that. But if we move down here to where you're actually going to be driving the car, let's turn this back to RPM. So if we have a look at where we're actually going to be driving the car, which is, sort of be more like your 3,000 to 5,000 RPM range, we are higher in terms of torque and power over the entire range. And if we get to sort of, let's just pick this bit here, 5,000 RPM, we are, 10 horsepower up, which is because we are over 10 foot-pound of torque up there. So, it's another, like we said when we were doing the original intake test, these peak power figures, they don't really mean an awful lot on the road. It's the area under the graph. It's here where you're actually going to be making a fast car or not. Peak, we've got about 12.5 foot-pound more, just at about 3,000 RPM. And you are going to feel that on the road. It's going to feel like a much quicker car. So quite surprised about that. I mean, I guess it's like, like they say, down to the smoother bore of the intake tube, the fact that it will insulate it a little bit better being carbon rather than aluminium. That seems a no-brainer, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, and especially for the money, it's 540 quid.
Yeah.
It'll work with your stock intake, so maybe you don't want to shell out for the big intake, but you want some performance gains, then this is a third of the price, really.
And it's not something that you if you like to see where your money's gone, it looks great under there. It's not something you're going to fit to the bottom of the car and you're never going to see it again.
Yeah.
It looks great under the bonnet, doesn't it?
Especially when you've got the whole the intake and the weave matches and
absolutely.
It's a bit of bling for your engine bay, but it's not it's performance bling.
Yeah, definitely. It's function with form, isn't it? So yeah, brilliant.
Thanks to Matt for taking the time out to come and fit it for us. It's always appreciated. And this has been a really interesting result for us, because we thought, it's probably just going to maybe sound a little bit better, not necessarily going to do anything, but as we've discovered, that's
great to see.
Great to see. So like and subscribe, go buy one at Tegiwa.com, and see you in the next one. Peace out.